up. He had like a keychain. It looked like he had stuck a little rabbit's foot right there in his ear. It was right there, and I was like looking at it. And then he had a lazy eye. I was like, oh my God, how can you get through this without staring at it? I was like,
And then he was talking.
he was talking, and I was like, oh yeah, he'll probably rise. He'll probably rise in a minute. Morning, how are you, sir? You get some sleep last night? Good. And by that, you're lying to me and you told me you got more than 4 hours.
I did.
She's not turning her brain off.
Working on myself.
Yeah, getting up at 3 o'clock to paint is not normal.
Maybe, but it's fun. Yeah.
Burning the candle at the end. You need to sleep.
I was hanging lights today.
Says the one that does some of the same thing sometimes.
I'm trying to do better about these kids. Because they talk about the number of years it takes off your life for they realize that you don't get it.
I'm guarding mine at about 8:30. It's time change.
I think if I had to be on the game,
Last night at 10 o'clock, we were in front of
you know, if I had to bet,
what time is it? It's like 2 a.m. or something?
North would win. But
Ken was already asleep on the couch. We were watching Dharma and Greg. We decided we watched the whole series. I love Dharma and Greg. And so it was the one where Abby gets pregnant and Dharma's trying to get pregnant. And we
I don't. You run out of town.
a long one apparently that Ken did not find interesting.
Well, let me go to
My team, I didn't have anything.
like the church people.
What is up with you?
I
You
have
have
my
to sit on
seat.
the groom side all the
Hard
time.
stages.
Don't you always sit on the brown side?
Not always. I used to sit on the groom side pretty
I've never
regularly.
seen you sit over there.
I used to.
Pretty regularly.
Morning.
What a lovely group of ladies who are also trying to inside. Good.
Appreciate that on a rainy Friday morning.
Yes, we do.
But I'd rather be sitting on the table than sitting comfy.
I'd rather be in bed with a blanket
fuzzy
around me
socks
still.
on
Oh,
and a book.
okay.
And a book.
Might as well shoot for the moon.
Came out and it was wet, and I was like, ugh. Go
I
back
said, this
inside.
segment.
But that's what dogs do. And when they're like, okay, let's go out, let's go out, let's go out. And after the moon, they go,
Well, when we went out at 6, it wasn't raining, so Coco was like, oh, this is good. Then when I went back out, it was raining, and I was very discouraged.
I know, of course.
Well, remember, it was super cold and rainy the first shop sip and stroll, and it was the better day.
Yeah, I know.
So, and people, they've sold over 2,000 tickets. People are coming either way.
They sold over 2,000.
Yeah, they've sold over 2,000.
Plus it's weather.
Hey, you got a stick in here? I don't know. I saw it and I was like,
What's that? What is that? What does it
I
say?
don't know. It's like price tag.
There we go. I'm reading there. I don't know. About this phone? It is. But Micah's gonna hate it when I tell her where I got it from.
Where'd you get it from?
Do you remember the polished peach?
Oh, yeah.
Where barking dog shoes?
Oh my God,
Not even a little bit. Oh, but on the corner that had all the Republican signs in the window? Yeah, I ain't buying it. Sorry.
Was that my shop yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was having a
And you
look
couldn't come
yesterday.
in and you couldn't just stick your head in the door?
I was 5
You
minutes
could
late
just
to my
tell.
appointment, and so I was trying not to disrespect
But you
my...
came out, you could at least stick your head in and say, Carrie,
I had to go back to work. I was late for it. I had an appointment at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, on the hour, every hour
I
yesterday.
must talk about me, but I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Hey, I need to talk health and stuff too after if you have any time. And maybe you don't, but I mean...
And then you know what's crazy? I came up here the other day and was gonna run around and just come to your office. And I like and come to your office, but I said, no, I'm not gonna just barge in. So
You're always welcome, but
I know, but you know, I don't want.
Some days I'm super busy, and some days I have time.
I know. So what I'll do today, I have to be in my salon. Monet is sick, she's been sick 2 weeks. So her client. So it's a
Okay, it
little
doesn't have to be
overwhelming.
today, it can be next week, but I,
If we can do a little bit today, I'll
stay tuned. As long as I can get there by 11.
So we had some really good feedback from the USDA yesterday. They have a 502 and a 504. We might be able to use that to help some young people in some buy houses. And I just want to talk to you about, I think that Adriana got a full pitch out of it. And I think that if we can figure out how to use the tool and pair it up with another tool we're doing, we need somebody you don't have to worry about. But you know how you were helping people with looking at credit?
I want to go back there again.
I think that if we could pair that, like outreach with the program, with the potential that's
So I
coming.
literally just said I was going to do it, and I can move it. I was going to do what's called Shop Talk in my salon on Sunday evenings. We don't have to do Sunday evenings. It was going to be about entrepreneurs and how to get their credit, how to do checking account, savings account, emergency funds, how to invest. I had already talked to Cindy.
I had two young people yesterday.
Ethan about Aflac.
They need that.
They don't know it,
The
though.
two young people I met with yesterday, they're looking at opening up businesses at the middle school.
I sent them to you.
I know, they said, they basically don't know the basic steps to.
At all.
And so I said, I'm not talking down to you, but let me coach you a little bit. When you meet the marshal, don't tell him what you want, tell him what you need to do. You invite him to be your help problem solver. Oh, this is what I like.
But then we got to do soft skills because I told one of them.
It is a soft skill thing, that's what I was
You
trying to.
cannot go and do a proposal looking the way, mine is blunt. You cannot look like
No, I'm
that.
not, I can't be so
I
blunt.
mean, who are you? I told the other day, the guy like, look at you. You don't look like that. And then go and tell somebody I need for you to believe in me. So if my hair is all over my head and I'm telling you, I do hair, I'm a hairstylist, I do hair at Karen's Stone House. Are you coming? No, because look at me. You have to be who you are. This is Karen
You're a
Stone
walking
House.
billboard.
Yes. And he's like, what's wrong with me? I said, no, you tell me. Okay, this is why I'm working out. So I'm working out, you look in the mirror and you tell me what's wrong with you. I cannot separate you from the people that are coming in the gym. Who are you? Come, let's be real.
He was good yesterday.
He's freaking amazing.
He was good yesterday. We talked through 3 different scenarios that we might explore.
Oh, Monica, he's good. I went from a 10 to, from a 12 to a 3 on that size 3.
Wow.
This is him. With the food and everything.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
I forget how to get into this thing all the time.
Just gotta plug in too.
Good, Mr. Mayor, you good?
Yes, ma'am, how about yourself?
There's one over there, Betsy.
So I've been kind of out of.
There's one contact. Yeah, extension or a plug?
Plug. Kim, do we have an extension cord in the closet?
Got
You need one too?
Betsy needs to plug in.
I had my,
Colitis. We have had.
Or as my mother would say, plug up.
But now I'm trying to. And I haven't worked that hard.
Oh, you're gonna get a monster in the car. You'll be able to plug in the front office.
son is doing worse
It
than.
kind of warped me a little bit though.
Hey, Ken, that kind of butt kissing is never necessary, I'm just gonna say.
It's because he loves me.
Thanks for noticing.
That extension cord, you could have stayed
I
at home.
thought they were going to put it in the hospital.
Oh, I know. Hey, that's an idea. I'll just say that. Oh, it can.
You don't want that bright orange sitting up?
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
We're gonna probably get it.
I had this plugged in all night, except apparently
I'm grateful that we do.
Oh, excuse me. Ah,
Sometimes
I
you
could have
gotta
lost
do
an
what you
eye.
gotta do to get ready to go.
I could have lost an eye.
I don't think that's what he bumped into.
Thank you.
So you're sitting there looking good in that.
That's what I always say.
Thank you for the good part, because I'm not feeling it.
You're fun this morning, Betsy.
What's that?
You're fun this morning.
I am on this morning.
No, she's not always.
It's this marvelous juxtaposition between me being here and doing my civic duty and my husband dying.
Oh, honey, I didn't know he was in the hospital.
I mean, it's amazing.
I'm sorry, Betsy.
Oh, it's okay.
I know.
I know. Well, you know what? Right now.
Joyful.
What's that? I will. No, I know. I mean, I have such a feel forward. Honestly, though, at this minute, we're just going to present. There ain't no other way. You know?
We ready here?
Sorry, I didn't mean
You
to.
ready?
Oh, I can still wait hard.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, that should work.
If I get out at the break, ladies.
Get a room. No one said get a
I
room.
did not say that.
That's because HR.
Or would I? I've taken the training,
Oh. Okay, fantastic.
unlike some of them.
Good morning, we're going to call our meeting to order. We'd like to welcome you to our work session this morning. I would ask that you have cell phones, to please turn them off at this time. And we will stand and have pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Whitehouse and President.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would like to pray with us, would you please remain standing? Dear God of us all, we thank you for this day, a day that you have made, a day that we shall all rejoice and be glad in. We thank you for the time that you have set aside for us together on today to make decisions on behalf of the city of Madison. Would you give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, in-depth and recall of the things that need to happen inside of our city, not for ourselves, but for our citizens. We ask it all in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Well, this morning, Dusty, he is going to talk to us about presentation on our gas. Dusty?
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Mayor, how are y'all this morning? I told Mr. John I wouldn't take but 2 minutes, and he said he had a taser if I didn't. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you about our PAP, our Public Awareness Program. As you know, the city of Madison owns a gas system, and we are responsible for it. And it's our duty to make sure that all public officials, elected officials, are aware of the duties that we are incurred with. It's my job to make sure it's carried out. And if we don't carry it out, and we don't do this the way we're supposed to, filling out our paperwork, signing our paperwork, then we have an inspection, and then the PSC will send us a nasty letter requesting a check, demanding a check, more like it. But anyway, the paperwork that I have there is for public officials. If you would, please fill it out as soon as you can. I know you won't do it today, but as soon as you could, please fill it out. And I think they gave it to Ashley last year, and Ashley got it to Miss Rhonda. If you could, we would certainly appreciate it. It'd keep us out of a lot of trouble. So that's all I have this morning. You're aware of our public gas system.
Is it just
We have
one page?
It should be- it should be.
It's also this.
Yes, all that, yes, sir. But anyway, that's all I have this morning. I promise I'll be quick, out of the way.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Finance Director, Karen?
All right, good morning. I have passed out the fiscal year 2024 first quarter analysis report. General fund revenues right now are a little slightly lower than where we should be, but that will change in the second quarter when we start receiving our property tax revenue in. Sales tax has kind of started to level off a little bit. I've passed out the sales tax analysis form, and it shows that right now we're at a negative 3.73% of where we were last year. I'm not too worried about that right now. We're still on budget with everything for sales tax, but it just seems to be leveling out.
It's
Where-
year to date, we're 3% behind last year, so since fiscal July 1st.
Correct. So, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. We're still on budget with it. We're just not seeing those large increases as we have been in the past. So, but we'll continue to monitor it and make sure that everything is staying good. General fund expenditures are on track, a little less than where we are with the budget, on budget. There's really no other concerns amongst the other funds. Gas gas revenue will start to increase in the second quarter as well, now that we're approaching cold weather. I know I heard Rusty say everybody's cranking their heat up right now. I wanted to mention a couple of things. Back in July, we started a conversion with accounts payable and payroll in our software. And so Leanne has worked diligently on that conversion and has now worked out all the kinks with it. So I'm very thankful for her. In January, we're going to start converting over the utility billing and cash receipts platform. And so then it'll be budgetary accounting, and we'll have everything converted at that point to web-based from Access. And so I just wanted to let y'all know where we are with our software program that we run. Also, the FY22 audit is ready to submit to the state. And so the auditor will submit that on Monday, once I get her back a few papers. And then we'll start on 2023 immediately. Any other questions?
I have a question, Mayor.
Sure, go ahead.
I know trying to figure out where the increases in sales tax comes from has been like a moving target. A lot of speculation regarding the internet recently passed in Atlanta to require more internet sales subject to sales tax. Do you have any speculation yourself as to why we seem to be a slight leveling? Have we?
No, you know, of course, I've always said that getting things and getting information from the state is, you can't, and they won't give any type of details about it. So I don't know if it has to do with now inflation isn't as bad as it was. I have no idea. It's just all speculation. But I have not heard any concrete information on what is going on.
Okay.
But we'll continue to look at it. I've also talked with the county finance director about it, and so we're both studying it and making sure, because it also is going to affect our swaps and T-swaps.
Let's do our first statement.
Thank you.
John, your report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 5 or 6 items. You have before you the existing T-Splosh list. I just wanted to remind you we recently put out this package to bid, and the work will be done after the first of the year, but the state requires us to come up with a new list for next year by February, so I want to plant a seed and suggest that you think about roads in your district if there are any that you are particularly concerned about. I'd appreciate hearing from you. The list itself comes from a comprehensive list that the county put together. They hired an engineering firm and they did an analysis of every road in the entire county. And so that's the basis of our recommendation in terms of what roads get done when. And so we'll have that list in draft form probably at the next meeting, but as I said, if you have a particular road in your district that you're concerned about, I'd like to hear about it as early as possible. We have some upcoming events. Our Service Awards Luncheon is December 13th. It's always a great event to recognize our employees and also to recognize those employees that have reached important milestones. So we hope that your busy schedule will allow you to be with us to thank our employees for their great service. We also are having an event on December 15th with Mr. Freddie Broom, a lunch and learn. It's called Nurturing Healthy Communities, and the summary of it says a healthy organization promotes diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Organizations that do not have a good understanding of these face many challenges. So it will be an interactive work session. I think we're limited to 25 slots, and it's primarily for employees, but we want to invite the council members as well. And we hope that we have a full room for Mr. Freddie Broom, who does a great job with these work sessions. And the last event is on December 20th, we have our annual employee chili luncheon over at the Street Barn, and we hope that any council members that can fit it into their busy schedule will stop by to be with us on December 20th. So those are the events. I wanted to mention that Monica, Jay, and I have had several discussions recently about the issues that were raised at the last council meeting, and I want to briefly ask Jay to say a few words. But we're looking at our ordinance to see whether we can recommend to you any changes that protect the community. Jay, do you want to say anything?
Monica and I, ever since really I was hired, we've been talking about that the zoning ordinance as a whole probably needs an update. Certain things need to be fixed, and so we've been talking about that. We're going to not overwhelm the mayor and the council, we're going to try to break it up by specific zoning categories, and we just thought we would start with the industrial one, so that's just a heads up that we may be sending proposals in the future for you all to look at.
Thank you, Jay. Next, I want to just bring up the issue of recycling, because as you know, we have been working long and hard on the issue of glass recycling, and we weren't expecting to get notification by our longtime service provider that provides the commingled recycling that they're no longer going to be providing that service to us. And so, as usual, I turn to Aaron Tewksbury, who always takes any challenges we throw at him, and he does a great job. And Blake Adcock and Ron Nabel and Ken and Karen Robinson and Karen Stapp and our intern Whit Buchanan to both finalize the glass recycling and the implementation after the first of the year of our takeover of the commingled recycling program. So Ken, do you want to give us a summary of where we are?
Can you help me out, Aaron?
Get up there.
Aaron says you're on your own.
So you have at your seats some of the materials that we've prepared. Oh, you know some up here. Okay. So it's the newsletter. The insert with the newsletter this time around will be the green sheet that has a calendar on one side and a listing of recyclable materials on the other side. There's an FAQ sheet that's will be on the website. And then lastly, we've printed out the online sign up for glass so you can see what it looks like. It's very simple. It's just name, address, phone, and email. And then when they submit that, then there's a second sheet that you have that will be the screen that will pop up, and it gives them more information. And that last thing we're working on as far as information is when the carts for glass are delivered to folks, they will have kind of a cardstock copy of that calendar and some magnets so that people can put it up on their refrigerator or cabinets or whatever. As far as glass, I'll just keep rolling. It will be every other Wednesday, so it's not like the first and third, it's not the second and fourth, it's every other Wednesday, which is why we've done a calendar, because evidently it's hard for people to
Know which every other Wednesday is.
They sign up for that, they will get with no cost, a 35-gallon rolling, I call them carts, he calls them bins, let's call the whole thing off. Commingled recycling will stay largely the same. It'll be on Mondays, except that we actually give our employees holidays off. So whereas Latham would still be here on Labor Day or Memorial Day, we'll let Blake have the day off, and it'll push forward one to the Tuesday, which is also reflected on the calendar, so people can check on that. You can still use your 15-gallon totes that you already have, but we will make available, however, at a cost, a blue 35-gallon rolling cart, which is how much of those?
The 35 are 40, 41, 45, and then if you're a die-hard recycler, you can get a 95 for about 100. So
Cheese.
How many bodies does that hold?
2.
Depends
Okay.
on how you cut them up.
Which brings us to the next thing. If Blake and Tim is probably gonna be working with them on the truck, if they see things that are in your recycling that shouldn't be in there, like a body, you're gonna get a Hoops card. And that's covered in the newsletter. So you get a card, they'll say, because Latham, they picked up everything. And I don't know how often they showed up at Pratt Industries and Pratt said, no, none of this is good. You
Or
just
they
get
just dumped on it to add a landfill on the
Yeah,
way.
exactly. So we don't want to do that because it's just
Right.
a waste, it's actually a waste of money because of all that fuel that's spent collecting and taking it. So people are going to get we're not picking up this recycling and here's why, sort of thing. And the big one is, can't say it enough, no bags, no plastic bags in your recycling. Don't do it. So.
So this is going to be on the website, sorry, may I?
Oh, go ahead, sure.
This is going to be on the website, and it will be in this that goes out.
So, yeah, so the newsletter goes out with utility bills.
Right.
The calendar and the list of materials and the FAQ sheet, all that's going to be on the website. Well, the newsletters are always on the website as well, but it just won't be under the recycling page.
Right. And any other, how else, I mean, is there any other, just a word of mouth, social media?
Well, social media, yeah, absolutely. So we are probably going to start the sign up for class next week, I guess. We have powwows every Monday morning, so I think the grace will be set over that then. But I mean, and then when people sign up, Kiki and Rhonda Bell both get an email and they'll start building the database. Blake Adcock, who's going to be driving the truck, we've already contracted with. We've got software called Hauler Hero, and that will, Blake will be able to see on his tablet who's signed up for glass and look for it. If it's not out there, he can take a picture of either it's not there at the time he went by or there's something bad in here, his card. And that'll immediately upload to the cloud, and Rhonda will be there, and if someone calls and says, they didn't pick up my stuff, and she can go, that's because they went by at 10:30 this morning and wasn't out. So you gotta get it out earlier than that.
And cost for the whole recycling?
Ooh, I'm out.
Have we decided?
I just write words.
We're not.
We are not charging for glass recycling for this year.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
You pay for the.
You'll recall that we have increased the fee
Right.
during the budget. So there's additional revenues. And so the other thing is that while it's obviously going to cost us something to implement the commingled recycling, we're not going to have the significant cost that we were paying lately.
Right.
So we're going to just do this and see where we are at the end of the fiscal year. And we want to do everything we can do to encourage people to consider glass recycling.
That's
And
awesome.
would there not also be a savings at the weight of the glass that doesn't go to the transfer
Sure.
station where
Yeah.
the county charges us by the pound basically on
And so we really need your help. I mean, because you're going to get calls. No matter how many of these we put out, there's going to be questions. And so if you could familiarize yourself with the program, ask questions now, you could provide a tremendous service to us because you're going to bump into people and you're going to get the calls or whatever. And it's going to take a period of time. But I just can't overstate how hard these guys have worked on this. And starting months ago, surveying other communities that did it, whatever. And as I said, when we started, we thought we were just talking about creating a new glass recycling program. We didn't know we were going to take over the whole operation or whatever. So these guys have done a stellar job.
And as far as costs, I'll also add, people signed up for recycling to get the $4 cost
Yeah.
savings. We suspect there were a certain amount of people that just signed up and weren't actually doing that. But Latham charged us by household. So I have a feeling that we were paying for more than we were getting. So I think that we might get some cost savings there.
Yeah, awesome.
it. This looks really good. It's a lot of
Well,
information.
Colleen's the one who makes it look good.
I want to add too, we will be posting stuff in City Hall and putting it in the newcomers packet for new residents as well, about the information on right there.
Have the containers been ordered and or received?
We are hopefully hopefully today we'll be ordering them. We just had some logistic, because of the size of the container, we're trying to get as specific, but not overstimulate people with words on the top as to what the box, what could go in the box. And so the 95s are bigger, of course, than the 35s, and so we were just trying to work through the verbiage. I think Colin and I figured it out this morning, so the order has been approved. We're just going to say,
You're not anticipating any supply issues that would not allow them to be here before this thing initiates?
every time I call him, I said, my boss says that it has to be here before January 1, right? I said, yes.
So the glass wheeled carts are gray and they'll say glass only. I think both of them have no plastic bags on them. And then if people opt to buy either a 35 or a 95 for commingled, it says commingled and it says paper, plastic, metal.
So the color scheme is very important, because our garbage can is green,
Yeah.
that's garbage. So the commingled is blue and the glass is gray. So anybody can walk up, if they know the general scheme, and say, okay, this is glass, I don't get that on trash day, so even if it's out. So that was the only way that we could kind of dumb it down to make sure that everyone understood. So if we did everything green, there would be a total chaos.
But you said that we can, or the citizens can continue to use what they have, the green.
The green totes.
Totes.
Correct.
Well, also, there's also the green Kirby Kirby.
Well, that one, and it says it on the newsletter, we are not continuing to serve those. So if you want to put.
It's the color scheme.
I got you.
Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you
yeah.
want a wheeled cart for your recycling, you
Can I
have to
paint
buy.
mine blue?
I think you guys should make a video modeling how to
Yeah,
do
that would
it.
be.
That sounds fabulous.
Oh.
And you know, usually when the person comes up with the idea, they're the ones in the video.
You know, I will say, I'm sure all of us on the council know this, but on the list of top 5 things that we get comments from citizens, garbage and recycling and yard waste pickup is right up there on the top 5, I would say. So this looks like really great progress. I'm very happy.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Just 2 more items. I wanted to inform the council that we have concluded our negotiations and discussions with the CVB about the use of the visitor center building. We will be drafting an annual lease, which we presently don't have now. We will be updating the original agreement with the CVB, which is outdated, and we will begin, as of January 1st, to receive rent that will primarily be used to maintain the building. And I cannot thank Chairman Pat Hodges enough. It's been a delight working with her. We've had some sessions and worked through this, and we're on the same page, and I just think that they have been terrific to work with. So I wanted to let you know about that. And last but not least, I think this is, I hear this might be our last council meeting for the year, so I didn't want it to pass without recognizing our city clerk, Ashley Hott, who's been with us for 11 years and who has done a great job. And being city clerk is a difficult job. I won't say, because council members might be offended, so I won't say it's like herding cats at times. But it is a challenge, and she not only deals with the council, but she has done the licensing and the business licensing and the cemeteries or whatever. So she wears many hats, and she has done it with great dignity, and we want to wish her well in her next chapter of her life.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for those
Ashley.
kind words.
Appreciate that.
I still am gonna have you on speed dial.
Thank you, Ashley, a lot. Wow, you'll be missed.
I will miss y'all, and I can't talk. I'll miss y'all too.
Mr. Mayor, if I, personally, I would like to see the meeting happen on December 11th. I think there's a couple of reasons. I think there's a potential HPC appointment that could be on that agenda that we were expecting. There's also the opportunity for Ashley to work with her replacement, to actually be at a meeting setting I think that would be helpful. And also, I don't know the situation with Sandy Sanford, who's had he
I think he
delayed the
has
last one.
postponed his till next year, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Anyway, my personal feeling is I would like to meet. We only meet twice a year. There's always something coming up, but I would certainly go along with whatever the will of the mayor and council is on that. But I wanted to get my opinion in there.
Well, I think it depends upon what Monica knows have. I think she said what she have was for us today to maybe sign or approve. Is that right, Monica? So,
I'll be happy to give you an update on what I've got.
okay.
Okay. And then one other schedule thing that John didn't mention, I believe we have the Christmas parade on the 9th or 7th, Saturday.
Yeah, we're going to ask Magistrate Director to give us a report.
I will wait for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
Also, yeah, Colleen will get me too if I don't get your RSVPs. She asked me yesterday.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot one thing, and that is very quickly, the police department is presently conducting an operational audit, very similar to what we did for the fire department, and so I want to applaud the efforts of our chief and Colin Campbell. They're working with a firm that has a tremendous amount of national expertise and best practices in our police department, and all of us know that we can always improve. So I just give them a lot of credit for their leadership and being supportive of this operational audit.
Thank you. Sir, want to give us an update on the parade and where we are?
Well, good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
The holiday parade is going to be on December 9th at 4 p.m. And so we've got a new route from last year, if you're familiar with the route. So we'll be coming down East Avenue, coming up along Hancock, where it transitions into Hancock, and then turning down on Jefferson, going straight down towards the park. So we are very excited about that. Following the parade, when it ends at Town Park, will be our caroling by candlelight, Santa's tent, free marshmallows, hot chocolate, a roasting pit. So we're very excited about that event. If anybody wants to volunteer to hand out marshmallows or hot chocolate, let me know. It's always a very fun event. And we had really good success with both days of Shop Sip and Stroll, as well as Shop Small Saturday and even Black Friday. I've heard really good feedback from retailers who said that they had some record-breaking numbers for their sales. So that was all very great, and we're getting ready to start planning for the next year of events and everything else that way. So I'm excited about some new ideas that we've got coming along that will be shared with you going forward. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer.
Will there be any units in the parade on foot this year?
Yes, there will be.
Can you assure us that the pace car will understand that and not haul ass down Main Street at
I know, last
25
year,
miles an hour?
they did not understand the difference between walking speed.
Thank
We are reminding the pace car to go slowly, that there are people on foot, and not to like have a big gap between the vehicles and people marching and walking.
I think we tie somebody behind the pace car on foot, and just, that'll kind of keep it, you know.
I think we should have somebody on foot in front of the pace car. That might be safer.
Well,
Potentially.
yeah.
I think last year, I recall, we had to stage outside the edge of town, wait at least 20 minutes. People were cheering when the fire truck first arrived, and after 20 minutes, Rick and I were afraid they were going to start throwing tomatoes at us.
Yes, I remember I was helping man one of the barricaded streets, so yes, I remember that gap in time, so we are working with them.
So we are expected to be on the fire truck again this year, is that the same plan?
I believe that they've got the fire truck, and Colleen has been working with trying to get a couple other vehicles that way to add a little something extra to the event.
Will you raise your hand if you're planning to participate in the parade?
Wonderful.
If it's not raining, if it's not, yeah, for me, if it's not raining, black girl hair doesn't last on top of the fire truck.
We can
In the
get
rain.
umbrella.
I won't look like city council by the time we get to Town Park. So it just depends for me.
We'll just slap you a Mrs. Claus hat on.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on the weather, and we've got, our rain date is the following Saturday, so if it absolutely is pouring, we've kind of got the 16th lined up as a potential backup, but hopefully the weather will work and we can just move forward with the December 9th date.
Good. I didn't get to come to the mayor's.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you.
Are there any more comments from the council?
If I may,
Sure.
just to circle back with the reference to the ordinances that you and Jay and Monica have been looking at, and that we're starting with sort of that, the zoning first. Does any of that include the residential short-term rentals that we were talking, I mean, is that part of?
Jay's already got a working draft that I've reviewed, and we're starting to have discussions about. You'll get that in the new year, I assume. Probably, I believe John was saying that we were looking at timing, and by the time we do the operational ordinance, which would update the code, and the zoning ordinance piece, by the time we do advertisement, it's going to be probably your February docket before you see it to vote upon, but we'll be at a work session before that.
All right, excellent.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, may I?
Sure.
I
Don't
wanted,
thank me, thank Jay. He's the one that did all the work.
thank you, Jay.
You're the best.
I also wanted us to look at the charter. When was the last time we actually looked at the charter for the city? So I would like to see when we can maybe go over the charter, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, and just see what's there, because I mean, I've been here 10 years, I've never looked at the charter. I mean, I have looked at it, but have we went over it to see what's really old, Eric?
Matter of fact, I was in the meeting last.
Mr. Mayor?
I was in the meeting last night with
Yes, sir.
GMA, and
Yes,
some
sir.
of the mayors and councils were talking about that charter.
Yes,
And
sir.
GMA does help with,
Yes.
they do take a look at city charters, and they do help with charters, and Jay probably has something.
And I will say this is the perfect time to do it, because if it has to go through the General Assembly, if it's something that can't be done by you all,
Yeah.
you have to do an advertising before they present it to the General Assembly, and they go into session, next month. So this is the
Thank
time to look at it and get that done if you're going to do it.
So to start with, if there are particular provisions in the charter that are of concern to you, if we could start a list, that'd be great. I think there's some issue about compensation
Yeah, it's
that's
got
an
a
issue,
dollar
right?
amount that is incorrect.
Yeah.
It's got a lot in it, that's probably incorrect. Okay. So, whenever we can look over it, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna do that, our attorney said we need to do it probably January, I guess. Sure. Okay, thank you.
And start talking to your General Assembly members that represent the city of Madison. They're the ones that actually have to take it through the floor, so.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's no more comments, we will go into our regular call meeting. So, approve of minutes of our previous meeting, work session on November 3rd, 2023, and our regular meeting of November 13th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor, on November 3rd, there's a work session and a very, very brief called meeting set of minutes as well that followed that November 3rd meeting. So if you all do feel ready to approve this morning, if you could add the work session and called meeting of November 3rd.
Okay. We get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. Minutes are approved. Thank you. And the regular meeting on November 13th, 2023, we can get a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. Vote unanimously. Thank you so much. Ordinance of schedule of fees update, municipal code fees. Okay. Be careful.
Yes, Katie Dunworth, the city court clerk, grabbed me a few weeks ago, and I guess she had just gotten back from some training, and I don't know if you all know this, but every time the city finds someone, they have to remit a certain fees to the state for certain programs, law library, I think there's a sheriff's something, just a bunch of fees. And those fees generally come up somewhere between $20 and $30. And the issue that Katie brought up is that your parking violation fee is $15 and has been $15 forever. So the city is actually losing money every time they write a parking ticket. And so she came up, I asked her to come up with a proposal of what fee she would like to see it raised to get that. And she came up with really three. One is $35, and that would net the city, $11 or something like that. The next one was $50, which would net the city $23 or something after the fees. And she spoke with her counterpart down in Milledgeville, and Milledgeville actually charges $100 for parking.
Wow.
Which
Wow.
seems a lot. But, so the proposed ordinance in front of you, I just went with the middle route, 50. That can be easily changed upon your approval, but I think the main thing is that Katie is concerned that you write parking tickets and the city is actually losing money to the state
Right.
when they do that, so. And Philip Malcolm, the code enforcement officer, said he's never been around when it's been raised, so it's been $15 for some time.
Wow.
Are those, there's at least I'd say 15, maybe 20 different deductions for various
Yeah.
funds. Are those all in dollar amounts and not in a percentage amounts?
Some of them are percentage, some of them are flat fees.
Oh, so the flat fees are
Yeah.
killing us on,
Yeah.
$15 seems pretty cheap.
Yeah. And that's the other problem is people don't mind paying $15.
They don't mind paying $15.
Philip Malcolm says
Yeah.
a lot of people are
Yeah.
are visitors from other parts, and so collecting those is tough too.
So council, you're suggesting $50?
That's what I just put as a
Council,
placeholder, but
that-
if you all want to lessen it to, or raise it to whatever you want, that can be easily changed.
I like 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we get a motion and a second, we'll move on.
If he wants to claim raising okay, I will move to accept the ordinance change to increase the parking fees to $50.
Second.
All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. Vote unanimously. Thank you, sir.
And just one other thing related to this, all of your other fines were actually raised by $25 a couple of years ago to counteract this, I think, and I think this parking fees for whatever got left off that list too, so,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Transfer of property, Monica?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is kind of the year-end wrap-up that we always do. There's always some property that gets transferred or y'all are accepting toward the end of the year. And so you've got two pieces of property on your list. One is Clark Park is now finished. I'll remind you that you've actually already compensated the DDA for both the Fifth Street parcel and Clark Park, but it was contingent upon the transfer of Clark once the liquor store has been demolished and everything had been righted. So that has been accomplished. It's a .33 acre tract that is ready to go back. We're now finished with all the demolition that's going to occur in the gateway. So you'll see a follow-up planting plan, a brick welcome wall with an acknowledgement of Clark Park, which was part of the purchase agreement deal. And there's a little bit, and if you wanted to ask about it, I know that it's still outstanding. There's a little bit of curb and gutter and asphalt on the Washington Street side. I've had one council person ask about it. The reason that hasn't been replaced is if the DDA did it as part of what they were doing, like we did on Jefferson Street, we would have had to get DOT permits. And so instead, it was Jefferson Street was done, the little bit was left on Washington Street, and Aaron can actually take care of that as a repair if it's the city doing it. And so the portion of Washington Street, that little bit of curb and that little bit of taking out of driveways will occur as his schedule permits without us pulling a GDOT permit. So State Highway on one side, City Street on the other side, we took care of the other side. So that is now complete and it's ready for transfer. All you need to do is accept it. DDA voted and did their all signatures yesterday. And then the other piece of property is one that should have already been transferred. When the big parking lot was installed in the gateway, we refer to it as the gateway parking lot, DDA went ahead and transferred that lot back For some reason, I don't know, in the conversation between David and I, we didn't pick up that the Richter Cottage parking lot should have been transferred at the same time too. And the reason that needs to come back is because those are SPOS dollars that have been expended, and that needs to be on the city's property list, not the DDA's property list. So we picked that up. I think Karen's working to make sure that gets off of the city's, off of the DDA's property asset list and onto the city's property asset list, but this will clean that up for SPOS purposes. So those are the two pieces, and I'm happy to answer any questions about those. Deeds have been executed by DDA, and they are in the hands of the city clerk, but y'all do need to formally accept those to add them to your property register.
Thank you.
Mrs. Monica, we get a motion from my council to accept these transfers.
Is the Richter Cottage is sitting on city land?
Yes, sir.
So this is now also adding the parking lot to city-owned land?
Yes, sir.
That's just the small, was it 5, 6?
They're two probably third-acre lots side by side. The pond sits on DDA land, DDA land technically, and the parking lot, big parking lot's on city land. It's all commingled. It's also incestuous.
So how many parking spaces on the Richter Cottage? Is it about 6?
It might be 8 if you count the handicap.
There's a handicap one too, that takes up
Okay.
a lot of space, but you don't have choices on that. I think it's maybe 6 or 8 total.
Okay,
I think we have a double load handicap, one to either side, something like that, seems right.
okay. That's cool.
We lost a lot of, I don't want to say lost a lot of space, but when we allocated the appropriate amount for ADA spaces, that was a very small parking lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Okay.
But necessary next to a city-owned attraction.
It is, very necessary. I make a motion that we do the property transfer from DDA to the city of Richter parking lot. I can't talk this morning. And also you want me to do both of them at the same time, Mr. Mayor?
It doesn't matter, I don't think, does it? You want?
Same time?
Okay, you can do both at the same time.
And also accept the transfer of property from the Downtown Development Authority to the city of Clark Park.
Second.
There any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none, vote unanimously. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, may I have one extra second to give
Sure.
an update on other property?
Sure.
So I just wanted to give you a brief update that yesterday the Downtown Development Authority finished up their discussion on the middle school property. And so just wanted to give you an update on that. We had hoped that property transfer would also be before you today, but there was still some things to kind of work out. I just want to thank Ed for his assistance with working with Virgil Cole and making sure that goes smoothly. Not to get too deep into it, but roughly the BOE wanted to accelerate the takedown agreement, and I'll just remind you that the takedown agreement was that it was supposed to be in phases, phase 1 and phase 2, and so that the DDA had some form of exit strategy. And the BOE asked to accelerate that and has supplied a cache of funds that the DDA can draw from that gives them the safety net. And so they've asked for an advancement, but they're covering the expense that DDA might be exposed, the exposure. And so DDA did agree yesterday morning to go ahead and accelerate and take BOE up on their very generous offer that Ed helped them negotiate and get to. So I just wanted to say that because remember that will flow through the city. And so that actually goes to the BOE. Hopefully it will be at their December meeting. And then after they act on that, it will come back to you. We'll probably be at your January work session. Julie Spire will be here to explain it all and make sure that everybody has their questions answered. But then you'll turn around and transfer it to the DDA because the BOE would prefer not to transfer it directly to the DDA. They want it to go government, then DDA. So that's the setup. I think that's going to work out, and DDA is satisfied that they are covered and are not exposing themselves or the city to any undue expense, which is why they were worried about that. So anyway, be expecting that property transfer probably to happen after the first of the year instead of before Christmas. But I knew that was hanging out there, and some of you have asked questions about it, so I wanted to make sure to touch on it today. Any questions you might have for me or something you want to know before the next meeting?
So at the moment, there's no property out there that's owned by the city. It's either Board of Education or it's DDA, is that right?
You mean at the middle school?
Yeah.
Yes, everything's owned by BOE.
Okay, and this would be a temporary, we would take ownership for just a brief period of time in the process of transferring it from BOE to DDA. Am I right on that?
You're close. So I'm just going to parse one piece of that. So out of the property transfer from BOE to the city and then to the DDA, there will be one piece that you hang on to and hold. And so it'll come out of BOE, we'll consolidate it, we'll split up lots, and then you will hold the lot that the Boys and Girls Club new facility sits on. And then you will transfer the rest to the DDA. So there is that one holdout. And the reason that holdout is because the city received the CDBG grant, and the CDBG requires the city to hold the asset for 10 years. After 10 years, you can dispose of property, you can put it to DDA, and DDA can dispose of property, but for the grant purposes, that receipt of $750,000, you have to hold the property as a city asset for 10 years.
And how big is that property and where is it in that complex?
It encompasses the old ag shop, if you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where Boys and Girls Club was formerly. It encompasses the new addition between the tech building and the gym, and the tech building and the gym. So it's the square building,
And
the new addition that's looking pretty good if y'all haven't been over there.
It's very nice.
And then the gym. And that'll be carved out as a separate parcel of record, and the city has to hold
It's
that.
exciting.
And that's not new information, but you'll be seeing it for the first time in January. Questions?
Well, Mona, we thank you for your hard work.
I thank you for the extra 2 minutes. I hope I didn't burn my welcome.
Any more comments from the council? If not, if we are not going to have a meeting and this month, we'll let council know. And I was going to ask Ken, how important is it to appoint that person to HPC this year? Or can it be done in January?
Several of them are seeking reappointment.
Uh-huh.
So, and your January meeting is the day before the HBC meeting. So
Good.
when that happens, everybody who has applied,
Uh-huh.
I act like they're already on the board
Uh-huh.
and get them information, and then the ones that do get appointed get to come to the meeting the next day. So we can do it.
Great.
And HBC is not the only one with appointments. There's cemetery, there's planning commission,
Yeah. Planning Commission.
and corridor commission, so.
And that's before the Planning Commission meeting,
Yes.
so.
I think the only one who would affect would be the cemetery commission, I think, is on.
Okay. So if there's nothing on our agenda for December, is the council okay with not having a December meeting?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
the work session for January is December 29th. So
Okay.
I don't know if y'all want to discuss that as well or make that decision at a later time, but if there's no December 11th meeting, the next one would be the 29th or January 9, depending on what y'all decide.
You talking about the work session?
The work session for January is December 29th.
I guess it
And then the
depends upon if we have anything
Regular meeting is
for the
January.
work session. Yeah, we got some time. Yeah, okay. Anything else to come from my council this morning? If not, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.